From Lil Pump to Lebron James to Drake, Kylie Jenner, and more, join me as I show you some expensive celebrity cars. Number 6. Lil Pump's Concept Car. If there's one thing that Lil Pump loves more than his fame, it's cars. He loves cars. And he sings about cars, and when he got his major contract deal, he went and started buying a lot of cars. Many of which he just got because he liked the look of them and not because he wanted to drive them. Yeah, that is sad, but let's move on. In an attempt to top himself and have something truly unique, he went and got a true concept car from BMW, one that is still in pre-production today. Its name is the BMW Vision Next 100. If you don't understand what a concept car is yet, it's a car that is shown via cards and movies and such that hasn't fully been made yet. It's meant to inspire buyers to get them, which happened with Lil Pump, obviously. In fact, it cost him $2.5 million to get on the list of people getting the car. That won't be available for a bit longer. What's that? Why is this particular BMW worth $2.5 million? Well, that's because BMW truly went all out on this ride. They're incorporating not only the latest styles and trends into the visuals of this car, which you know is going to be very sweet looking. It's one that is well equipped to suit the personal needs of the driver. In fact, BMW wanted to make a next-gen car that was highly personalized to each individual driver. This isn't even touching on the fact that the car can switch driving capabilities from the driver to the passenger on a whim, and it can even drive itself apparently. Yeah, it's something, and I bet many of you are dreaming about driving or being driven in such a future car. Number 5. Kylie Jenner's Ferraris. From the most A-list celebrities in movies to major TV stars and of course musicians, many Hollywood elite have vast car collections that help satiate their itches for grandeur. Kylie Jenner is no different, and in fact she has a very specific itch that takes her money in the form of Ferraris. To be fair, that's a very good model of car, and she clearly knows that as she herself has a large collection of them, and she appears to keep getting more. We say this because she'll many times take pictures of herself either with or inside a Ferrari, and many on Instagram have noticed that they're not all the same. So much so that we honestly don't know how many Ferraris she has. However, some of the models that she has been seen with cost from $250,000 to $1.4 million. So put that all together with the other mystery number of cars and yeah, she spent millions of dollars on Ferraris, which I'm sure makes a bunch of you car lovers jealous. Number 4. Drake's fleet of cars. It may seem simple, but everyone wants a brand new car. The feeling of having something fresh and not pre-owned is a special kind of feeling. And when you can afford it, you go for a really nice car. For Drake, it's not that he just wanted a nice car. It's that he wanted a lot of nice cars. Very expensive nice cars. Needless to say, he got his wish. And not only did he get his wish, he also got a fleet of cars that he can call his own, such as a Bugatti Veyron, which cost $1.5 million. Other cars he owns include a $28,000 Acura TSX, a $200,000 Bentley, a $300,000 Bentley Supersport, and a $400,000 Rolls-Royce Phantom. But in truth, he likely has a lot more rolling around, which can be seen in many of his music videos. True, just because he shows them doesn't mean he owns them, but with $200 million plus at his disposal, it's very reasonable to think that even if he doesn't, he could very soon. The only real question is, what kind of car is he going to buy next? Guess it just depends on what impulses he has. Number 3. Ronaldos Cars. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the biggest soccer players on the planet, and clearly, buying cars is one of his biggest hobbies. Not surprisingly, with him making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, he's able to splurge on himself to get some really expensive car purchases. He drives a $300,000 Lamborghini Aventador, along with a Maserati, which is equally as expensive. He also reportedly owns a Bentley, a Porsche, and a Mercedes, among others. In March 2019, Ronaldo added a $360,000 Rolls-Royce to his collection, a car that only the world's best and richest players have been able to get their hands on. Why is that? Well, it's because this particular Rolls-Royce was the first SUV style that they had ever made. And they didn't make that many at first, so he was one of the few to have it. One of the ironies of his car collection, though, is that Ronaldo isn't always the most careful with them, including crashing a $300,000 Ferrari one time so badly that it was basically totaled. Was he mad? No, he just went and bought a newer one to replace it. That's what you do when you have a lot of money, right? Number 2, Tom Brady's Bugatti Veyron Supersport. I want you to take a look at the Bugatti Veyron Supersport. Look at the curves and design of the car, and try and tell me this isn't one of the most beautiful cars you've ever seen. Now I want you to think about what it takes to get the car. Aside from having some serious money, believe it or not, you can't just buy one. There is a literal process to acquire one. Specifically, there's a screening process, a list of rules to follow, and you have to essentially be approved to be part of this exclusive car ownership. It's not a surprise to any of us that Tom Brady is part of this elite group of people who get bragging rights to Bugatti ownership. I mean, he is one of the greatest football players ever, so... As for the car, it comes with a hefty price tag. The Travel reports that this car put a massive $1.7 million ding in Tom's finances, but we're sure that didn't hurt him too much. He can now zip across the highway at super fast speeds, topping 267 miles per hour. Number 1, LeBron James and the King's Fleet. To say that King James is rich is an understatement, and since he's lived in many places in the US over his long career, including now being in LA, you'd almost be shocked if he didn't have a fleet of cars. And sure enough, he does. Some only cost him a few tens of thousands, others cost him many hundreds of thousands. King James reportedly spent $670,000 on his custom Lamborghini Aventador. James had the car wrapped to match one of his lines of Nike kicks, the LeBron James X1 King's Pride floral shoes. The base price for a 2019 Aventador S Roadster is a cool $460,247. And again, that's just one car. He's easily spent over $2 to $3 million on the cars that we know about. Long live the king, right? And there you have it, a look at some various celebrities and the incredibly expensive cars they own. Can you believe how much money they've spent on cars? Which ones do you like the best? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.